Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles, where today it's another Schlieffen replay. And yeah, we've seen quite a few Schlieffen replays on this channel, and it's not really surprising. It's a very popular ship, a lot of people are doing very well in it, because it's a very good ship. But it's a very good ship that does have certain weaknesses. Weaknesses that may not have been apparent if you watched the last Schlieffen battle that appeared on this channel, as none other than Flambass took the Schlieffen and basically put his blinkers on, full speed ahead, and damn the torpedoes, charged straight into the enemy team, guns and torpedoes blazing, and, well, basically butchered everything that he saw. You might think that's how you're supposed to play the Schlieffen. It is if you're Flambass, right? But for us mere mortals, that will get you killed very quickly, 9 times out of 10. And the reason for that is because, despite appearances to the contrary, the Schlieffen is not a brawler. Now, you could look at this ship and think, well, it has several of the characteristics of a brawling battleship. Let's say the Großer Kurfürst, for example, does have a lot in common with the Schlieffen, aside from their both being Tier 10 battleships. They both have a huge rapid-firing and long-ranged array of blistering secondaries. So that's one tick in the brawler box. Oh, hang on. DC Lawson 23 here in the Schlieffen has just been spotted. The Fun Police have pinged him, so he's immediately changing course. Because the first thing that happens if you're the first person spotted is everybody who possibly can shoot at you starts shooting at you. So he's adjusting course and speed, because I think the Yamato has just unloaded at him, and you really don't want to get broadside clapped by one of those. There we go. Cruiser captains, by the way, because it's usually you who gets spotted first. Pay attention here. Adjust your course and speed if you're the first one spotted. Where were we? Oh yes, why the Schlieffen is not a brawler and why not everybody can Flambass it. So yeah, secondaries. It's got the secondaries. It definitely has those. It even has torpedoes, something that the Großer Kurfürst doesn't have. But the Großer Kurfürst has armour. Oh, Lawson successfully dodging more Yamato incoming. And now it's his turn. Although he does only have the 2 front turrets available. But yes, the Großer Kurfürst, which definitely is a brawling battleship, has armour. It has the ability to take a hit, something that the Schlieffen does not. The Schlieffen is actually very, very fragile. By battleship standards, it only has 25mm of bow and stern plating, which means it can be citadeled from the front by just about anything. And the overall lack of armour means it takes a huge amount of damage from high explosive shells and large chunks of armour-piercing, penetrating damage even if it doesn't get citadeled. So what tends to happen to those of us who aren't Flambass, who try to play this thing as a brawling battleship, is that we end up being a dead battleship very, very quickly. Oh, hello, somebody just pinged the map and said there's an enemy submarine over there. Depth charge strike aircraft out. Yeah. So, for those of us who saw that last Schlieffen video and thought, well, that's all very impressive, but how are we supposed to play the ship? DC Lawson 23 here is about to demonstrate. And oh, he actually, well, it wasn't a direct hit, but he splashed something with his depth charges, so there is definitely an enemy submarine over there. This, by the way, is an arms race battle, in case you hadn't realised. You can tell by the... Well, for a start, it's unusual that the UI is actually working in this replay. We can see both of the teams. We can see all of the scores, which are even at the moment, 500 to 500. The key area, the one capture point, is going to appear in 4.5 minutes. And the team that controls that central capture point will basically win, although there's more to it than that. Oh, hello, Mr. Zeaton. You really didn't want to do that, did you? Oh, here come the Fun Police. Was that a secondary kill? It was. That was a second. Not surprising in this thing. Soften them up with the main gun batteries, finish them off with the secondaries. It looks like he's going to take both of these implacable torpedo. He is. Oh well, that's unfortunate. And a double fire. Well, he waited for the torpedoes, just in case they were going to cause a flood, and then he used the damage control. And just to reinforce the point that the Schlieffen is not a tough battleship, he's already lost half of his health. And he hasn't really been focused here. He certainly hasn't been charging into brawling range. This is just what happens in the Schlieffen. He had a double fire at one point. A couple of armour-piercing salvos lobbed in his general direction, most of which he managed to dodge. A couple of high-explosive salvos and a couple of air-dropped implacable torpedoes. And he's lost half of his health, even after using the repair party. And all of that was just from well, he wasn't being focused. It was just, oh, there's a ship over there. I've got nothing else to shoot at. Bang. Half of his health gone. This is not a brawling battleship. I mean, you can brawl in this thing. You can brawl in anything for a few seconds. But the trick to winning a brawl in the Schlieffen, as we saw in the last Schlieffen video, is you have to know that you're going to win it, and you're going to win it fast. Because the Schlieffen cannot stand up to a protracted firefight. It doesn't have the armour, it doesn't have the health. So, for those of us who have not completed the Principal Warfare Officers Training course at HMS Collingwood and understand the complexities and difficulties inherent in a close-range dogfight and don't have the reflexes of a rattlesnake on crack, DC Lawson 23 here is going to demonstrate how it should be done. Oh, the team's key just ate, well, all of the torpedoes there. That was... The Key's another one of those ships, by the way, that can actually do well with a secondary build. Which is surprising, because that's not normally the sort of thing that you associate with Japanese battleships, but the Key is armed with Japanese 100mm secondaries. Not the 127mm secondaries that most Japanese battleships get, and as such it gets the same... Well, for reasons that make no logical sense whatsoever, the smaller caliber secondaries actually get better penetration than the higher caliber secondaries, because Japanese 100mm guns, such as those found on the Akazuki, the Kitakaze and the Harugumo, get increased penetration values because reasons. And the Key has the same... Oh, wow. Yes, there we go. Those are the big numbers we're talking about. Yeah, the Key gets the same 100mm secondaries as the Japanese high-tier destroyer gunboats, so... Right, anyway. As you may have noticed, of course, with this being an arms race battle, the team are picking up various different buffs. We've got a minute and a half to go before the central area becomes available for capture. Some of those buffs include, but are not limited to, a hit point regeneration buff. So there's a passive heal going on here. It's not a huge passive heal, you only get 15 hit points per second per level of the buff. Oh, check this out. He can't see the submarine, but he knows his secondaries just hit it. So he knows exactly where that submarine is. There go the death charges. Oh dear, that Fletcher's about to... Yep, how embarrassing. A destroyer just got torpedoed by a cruiser. And there are the depth charge hits. Did you see that? The secondaries were shooting at the submarine. The submarine was unspotted, but he just looked at where the secondary impacts were on the water, and that's where he dropped the depth charges. Now, observe what Lawson is doing here. There's less than a minute to go before the Key area appears. So there are targets that are in range and he can shoot at, like the Incomparable over there. But he's waiting because the Incomparable's turning and might be about to give him better broadside shot. So he's waiting for the right moment. Unfortunately, the fun police arrive to ruin everybody's fun. He gets spotted. There's the Implacable. But several other ships as well, and you don't want to be fighting more than one ship at the same time if you can possibly avoid it. He's got the Yamato, he's got the Incomparable that might be about to shoot at him, the Yoshino's lobbing shells over the island. That's probably the best shot he's going to get at the Yamato, so he takes it. But what he's doing here, I mean, he's only got the 4 guns from the 2 rear turrets, and it was a decent amount of damage. What he's doing here is putting himself into a position where he's not having to fight all 4 of those enemies at the same time. It's basically just him, the Yamato, and the Fun Police. And the Fun Police already had its chance. So we've got some fires set there. This isn't a fantastic angle to be fighting the Yamato, but it's the best he's going to get. And again, a disappointing salvo from the 2 rear turrets. But again, he's in a position where the only thing that can shoot back at him is the Yamato, and, you know, the Implacable when it sends its aircraft back over. Oh, I think he's going to get him. Look at the rate of fire of these secondaries. He's got him. Another secondary kill. So he took some damage there in that exchange, but the Yamato definitely came off worse. And thanks to his manoeuvring, he's in a position where he's safe, nobody can shoot at him. And the secondaries are actually able to start lobbing shots over that mountain range and hit the Yoshino, hopefully setting some fires in the process. Paying very careful attention to the Incomparable, because that thing has some seriously big guns, and he did get a fire set, I think, on the Yoshino. He's now focused his secondaries on the Incomparable, which can't shoot back because it's on the far side of an island. The capture area is, of course, up. He's trying to stay inside it. along with the friendly Yamato. And note that in an arms race battle, when this capture point does appear, it starts shrinking. So the longer the battle goes on, the smaller the cap circle gets, which forces the team to close into brawling range. Something that the Schlieffen is not actually very good at. He just picked up a reload buff, by the way. Now, the Schlieffen has a pretty fast reload to begin with. I think it's only something like 27 seconds, but with the adrenaline rush skill kicking in from the damage that he's taken and that double stack of the reload buff, I'm pretty sure that his reload right now is down to less than 20 seconds. There go the depth charges on the submarine. Launched from pretty close range, giving the submarine the minimum amount of time to avoid. Secondary's focused on the incomparable. Big hits on the submarine. Is he going to get the kill? Is he going to get... He's got the kill. Is he going to get a double strike? You've got 10 seconds after killing one target to get the next and claim the double strike. And bang, there it is. Double strike. 2 targets within 10 seconds of each other. And still inside the cap circle. Although, unfortunately, the team just lost the Yamato, so he's now the only surface ship that's still inside the cap circle, but he is still capturing this central area. And it looks like they're about to pick up another buff. And this now means, of course, because there are now no enemy ships inside the cap circle, that the team are bang on course for a win. And the nearest available enemy ship that could contest that cap circle is just a cruiser. So he's probably not, although he's probably launched torpedoes, so you're going to need to watch out for those. But he's now suffering the wrath of DC Lawson's secondaries. So despite being the closest enemy ship to the cap circle, he's probably not interested in turning around and getting any closer. In fact, he's probably going to want to be doing the exact opposite, getting out of secondary range and then turning around and hitting Lawson up with some of those high explosive shells. Unfortunately, he's also attracted the attention of the Colbert on the team, so yeah, he's dead too. Any second now, who's going to get the kill? And it's DC Lawson. There's the Kraken Unleashed, and his 3rd Close Quarters Expert Award. Enemy Oster Yachtland just spotted up. Secondaries immediately switched to this guy, and since the main battery guns are, well, they're pointing that way anyway, why the hell not? Again, you know, he's losing a huge amount of health here, but double fire. But there's another Close Quarters Expert Award, kill number 6 on the Oster Yachtland. Friendly Vittorio Veneto over there on very low health. It looks like he's going for the ram on the enemy Atlantico, who has one of the best names ever, by the way, Shakalaka Boom Boom. He's definitely reversing. He sees the ram coming. Oh, I don't think the Vittorio Veneto is going to get away with it. He's on very, very low health, and he does have a double fire burning. But he's given it the old college try. Oh, almost. Never mind. DC Lawson to the rescue. Shots out on the Atlantico. I mean, you couldn't ask for a much better target than that, but again, he only has 2 of the turrets available. Oh, that was unfortunate. Is he in secondary range, though? He is. Oh, dear. That's not going to end well. The enemy team are down to 160 points after all the casualties they've sustained. Oh, the fun police are coming back. There's another double fire. I don't know what DC Lawson's done to upset that carrier, but it's been on his arse this entire game. Anyway, there goes the damage control. The Schlieffen, by the way, only gets a limited number of damage control charges, something that is a huge disadvantage in a ship that gets set on fire as often as this thing does. He's down to his last heal as well, but he should be okay unless he gets super unlucky against Shakalaka Boom Boom over there in the Atlantica. Look at the rate of fire of these secondaries, man. That is just... that is nasty. Oh, and he's picked up an increased damage buff. And another Close Quarters Expert Award, kill number 7. And oh, hello. It's the Implacable, and he's only just inside gun range. There are only 2 ships left alive on the enemy team, but I think one more kill, since the enemy team are down to 70 points. They probably don't even need to take this cap. One more kill should do it. Come on, Lawson. I think you've earned this one. And the Implacable certainly deserves it. He's only just gotten him inside main battery gun range, so there's no chance of another secondary kill here, but one hit should be enough. There it is. Kill number 8, and of course the most satisfying kill of the match, because it was the carrier. 240,000 damage and 8 kills, 5 of them from the secondaries, for DC Lawson 23 in the German Tier 10 fast battleship / battle cruiser, the Schlieffen. So for those of you who were thinking, well, it's all well and good watching Flambass rampage around in this thing like it's a destroyer, but how are we mere mortals supposed to make this ship work? This is it. DC Lawson giving a textbook lesson in how to Schlieffen for the rest of us. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.